What's going on, everyone? So the Phoenix Suns ended up trading Kevin Durant and, essentially kind of worked around about in order to get some actually quality players, right? They actually turned that into at first you're kind of like it's kind of not the return you were hoping for Kevin Durant, but to the front office's credit of the Phoenix Suns, they really kind of maneuvered that into some quality pieces here, right? And Jake Weinbach, made a post and said, Suns suddenly have legit young core surrounding Devin Booker. Jalen Green, 23 years old. Ryan Dunn, 22. Mark Williams, 23. Kamen Malic, 18. Rasheer Fleming, 20. Kobe Brea, 22. And Oso Ighodaro at 22. Impressive work by Phoenix's front office, right? But this, to me, kind of further solidifies something that I've talked about on several occasions, and that is you need to trade Devin Booker. You do. I understand Phoenix can't bottom out, and it sucks because you're in the Western Conference, so it's like, it's probably the hardest place to not bottom out in, but the problem, one, Devin Booker isn't getting younger. If he was 26, right, then sure. Right, keep him around, see if you can do something the next 2 years. But he's 28. He'll be 29 going into next season. Right? He's still on the right side of 30, but you don't have 3 or 4 years to carve this out with Devin Booker. Right? One of the things that I talked about very heavily is that you're not the only way to fix this for the Phoenix Suns is to go and make a play for Devin Booker and get back the pieces to put you in the position. I mean, you could probably hit Houston back up and get the farm for Devin Booker, right? Like, honestly, you could probably be like, hey, we're considering Devin Booker. We want all of our picks back. You get all your picks back, so now you can start bottoming out. And we want, basically what you theoretically wanted for Kevin Durant. We want Reed, we want Jabari Smith Jr., we want everything. Like, I'd let them keep Şengün, right? Because you already have young centers, right? Keep Şengün. So you have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Şengün. There you go. If you can, I'd try to get Amen Thompson. I don't think that they would trade him. So fine. Keep Amen. Keep Şengün. We want everybody else. Everybody else. We want all our picks. And you go get a package. You get 3 or 4 young guys. And, you'd have to take salary filler and stuff too. But you get 3 or 4 young guys. And then you go get, 5 first-round picks, including the, 2 or 3 that they have of yours. And now you can bottom out. Now you have a great young core that you're adding to your already young core. Like, that makes more sense to me than anything else, right? Because what's going to happen is they're going to be a play-in team, again, at best, or they're going to miss the playoffs, and they're going to be bottoming out anyway, and you're going to be trying to work around Devin Booker, and then you're going to get to the point where Devin Booker goes, get me out of here. And now instead of working together in a amicable way, now it's teams know, you got to get off of Devin Booker because he's making things difficult, right? Like, that's the problem. That's what you don't want. You don't want things to start getting ugly because now Devin Booker wants out. And he's like, and Bradley Beal, he supposedly is open to a trade, but he's only going to want to go to the teams that he wants to go to. You're not going to be able to get off of Bradley Beal, right? If that's the case, I would just tear it down and then basically force Bradley Beal. Do you want to be do you want to get 15 minutes a game off the bench on a bad team? Or do you want us to send you wherever we can send you, right? Take a team that gets you, or maybe we can send you to a team and you can get bought out or something, right? Because look, Devin Booker has 2 more years on his deal, right? Or I guess 3 counting this year. He has 2025, 2026, in which he's making $53 million, $57 million, and $61 million, right? He's if you're not a contender by then, he's probably not sticking around because he's gonna be like, I'm 31 years old, about to be 32. I can't stick around and not win anything, right? And again, you'd probably get more because he's under contract for 3 years. So you'd probably have these random teams that are like, hey, we'll take a flyer on him and sell the farm. And now might be the best time to sell him because there's a lot of teams that are kind of gearing up and trying to get in this arms race, and he's under contract for 3 years, right? So teams, you'll get teams that are willing to take the chance because it's like, what is he going to do, right? He's got to play, and so now you're in a position to where you can kind of create this bidding war. And I understand Devin Booker is Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, right? I get it. And look, If it made sense to keep Devin Booker, it's fine. And I know a lot. Look, I've said this before, and it was surprising how many Suns fans said yes. Like, there is from what I've seen, a very large number of Suns fans that would rather be bad and have Devin Booker than be good and get rid of Devin Booker, which I don't get. I don't like. If anything, I would want to win. I understand. Again, he's Mr. Devin Booker, but again, if you can, and if in 5 years win a championship because you got off of Devin Booker rather than keeping Devin Booker and just basically being a play-in team or missing the play-in. I mean, he missed the play-in with Kevin Durant. Like, what's the likelihood he's going to make the play-in now this year while teams are getting better, right? Like, so now you're bottoming out anyway on a team that can't afford to bottom out, right? And you have a great young core, genuinely. You have Jalen Green, who could be your Devin Booker replacement. Obviously, he's not Devin Booker right now, but Devin Booker wasn't, Devin Booker at 23, right? Like, he came into his own. I think Devin Booker was better at 23 than Jalen Green was, but still, like, the point is, like, Jalen Green is young, plenty of upside and potential. Ryan Dunn is great, right? Like, you have your young centers. You got Mark Williams. You got Kamen Malic, right? You got all these guys. You have everything you need to build a nice young core and foundation. And Devin Booker is going to be the one that is like messing it all up, right? Because now you have these awkward, like, what do you do with Jalen Green? They want to keep Jalen Green. Jalen Green is not going to work with Devin Booker. It's the same problem Bradley Beal had. They play the same position. They do the same thing. Neither player is good enough as a playmaker to play the point. Neither guy is good enough is big enough to properly play the three. You're in the same redundancy. So then you're going to come to the conclusion like, hey, we're going to have to trade Jalen Green or Devin Booker. And they're going to trade Devin Booker, and now he only has a year or two left on his contract, and he might not get as much of a return. Right? Like, if anything, you should trade Devin Booker. You have an excellent young core. Literally, you have Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams, Kamen Malic, Rasheer Fleming, Kobe Brea, and then Oso Edgardo, right? That's what? 7 young guys, right? And imagine what you could get for Devin Booker. You could probably get 5 to 7 picks plus, especially the go-in rate for some of these guys. You could probably get 5 to 7 picks plus another, 3 quality young players. Right? Again, I'd hit up Houston immediately, right? Because you look at like what this team has. Okay, so you have Jalen Green as your 2 guard, right? Ryan Dunn can be your power forward. Or even your small forward. I mean, he's 6'8", he's versatile defensive guy, right? But he could be, let's call him your small forward, right? So you got like Jalen Green at your 2, Ryan Dunn at your 3. Mark Williams is going to be your center right now. I mean, you could go with Rasheer Fleming as your 4, right? And then go find a team with like a young point guard or whatever. Like, I don't know. Can you turn him into something? Right? Like, I think if you're the Phoenix Suns, I think you need to wake up and realize, like, hey, man, look, I understand, Matt Ishbia was like, hey, we're never going to bottom out. We're never going to be a bad team, right? Like, we want to be able to put ourselves in a position to contend and all that stuff. Stuff goes out the window pretty quickly, right? When you realize, like, okay, like, but again, you have a nice foundation. Why not? Like, it'd be one thing if it was like you had a bunch of like, it was just like, you don't really have any young players, a bunch of old guys. Like, what are you going to do? Right? Like, you look at a team like Milwaukee, right? Like, Milwaukee, it's kind of like, like your best chance is keeping Giannis, right? And hoping that maybe something falls your way, right? But a team like Phoenix, like, you have a bunch of young players. You have a nice young core and talent. Turn Devin Booker into more of that core young talent, right? Like, and in 3 years, you might be better than everybody else, right? Especially if some of these guys are right and you hit on some of these guys and, all of a sudden you look up and it's like, you might be the best young team in basketball. You might be a play-in team. You can't be much worse than you were, right? Like, that's the thing that's crazy. Like, you can't be, like, you missed the play-in here. That means you were one of like the 5 worst teams in all of basketball. Like, you missed the play-in last year. So what's worse? You missed the play-in even more? Like, you still missed the play-in, right? But a nice young core, you might be able to actually make the play-in and start developing and getting experience and all that stuff. I don't know. I think that they need to look at trading Devin Booker. And I think that the young talent that they got, I think is further proof of that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Else for not, so enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.